Hi, welcome back to the channel where today we are going to be discussing National Preparedness Month. Now, everything in the news has been very heavy and everyone is feeling it everywhere you look. It is newsflash, newsflash, newsflash. I've even been doing it too because there is a lot of things going on. But I want to bring it back to National Preparedness Month. And why National Preparedness Month is so important is because it should give you some relief at the end of the day. Why it is so important to have a prepper's pantry is it is a pantry that you can fall back on no matter how hard your times get. So whether you lose your job or there is a natural disaster or something worse, you can always rely back on your prepper pantry. Now you can have a working prepper pantry, a rotational pantry. I like to call mine a rotational pantry. And then I have my long-term food pantry. But in my rotational pantry, I like to stock up on foods that matter most to my family. And a lot of those foods I can myself. Why? Because I am very cautious about ingredients that are used in my foods. Now, some of my kids love their junk food, but I like to slip in those good foods where I can. And today we need a soft prepping topic. We really do. It's been very heavy. I know other people are filling it out there. And so we're going to just talk about some of those basics. And one of those basics is shelf-stable meat. Why is that so important? Well, protein is vital for your brain to function. It allows your brain to be working at the correct speeds and be able to process what's going on around you. So whether you are tight on money or a natural disaster happens, you're gonna wanna have to be able to create those complete ideal meals. And when I'm talking an ideal meal, I wanna be able to create, pulled pork, chicken salad sandwiches. One of my absolute favorites is turkey pot pie. And making sure that I have those ingredients on hand to make a home meal when I'm in a hurry or if something was to happen, and know that I don't have to worry about the grocery stores. All of us as preppers know that every time we've gone into a grocery store recently, prices keep escalating over and over. These prices are absolutely out of control. Beef prices are at an all-time high while beef is turning into a complete luxury item. And there is so many canned proteins out there that you can get that are not beef, and you're not going to be reliant on what the price in the deli is going to be. So today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite items. This item is my absolute favorite to have on my shelf. Why is it? Because when I buy canned proteins, I always notice that they're really tiny and we don't get much volume for the bang of our buck. And so today we're going to be bringing in Keystone Meats. We all know Keystone Meats and we all love Keystone Meats because it's so vital for your prepper pantry. You have a 5-year shelf life. Yeah, you heard that, 5 years. If you did not know, there are only 2 ingredients. It is all natural meat and salt. Sea salt, that is it. Not regular salt, sea salt. You get chicken, sea salt, pork, sea salt, turkey, sea salt. It is so easy to throw that together. Now, while they're ingredients that's already pre-cooked meat, you're not worrying about having to cook the meat through, and it's shelf stable. It lasts for 5 years and you can find it pretty much anywhere. Let's go prepping at Walmart. That's one of my favorite lines. Or let's go prepping at Kroger. You can find it there. But my favorite place to go is their website. I know that sounds really cliche, and I definitely don't read from scripts, and I don't do that. I do this off my heart. As you guys know, throughout the years, I only represent brands that I have completely fallen in love with. And I have absolutely loved Keystone Meats since the beginning of my journey of creating and rotating my prepper pantry just the way I wanted it to be. But the way I like to go about it is I like to go to their actual website and intermix those meats together. And guess what? Their prices on cans, sometimes people are like, those are expensive. Have you not been to the deli? It is a lot more expensive there. Just so that we're all aware on the actual price factors. We cannot just sit there and go, chicken's only $1 nowadays. That is an absolute absurd thing to say. We all know that the price of meat has gone up. And so inside the cans, they are 1 pound, 12-ounce cans. That is a lot of meat that you can make a complete meal out of. And when my family is focusing on having shelf-stable meat and having that protein on hand, it's so incredibly important that when I'm stocking up, I'm making sure that there's enough for my entire family, not just for 1 or 2 people. We're talking 5+ people. So that is one of the reasons why I absolutely love them. And the fact that they are a family brand. They started this company back in 1965, and they only use 2 ingredients. They haven't bent to corporate ways of adding in all of these additives and junk and all those things that you see out there. They're all natural. They help make prepping easy. For anyone and everyone that's wanting to talk about prepper pantries, they have such a variety that you can actually just add those into any type of meal, and that completes your meals. And so when I'm looking at stacking my prepper pantry up, I'll give a couple clips in there so you guys can see what my prepper pantry looks like. But I have lots of vegetables, different types of sauces, desserts, and then obviously I need to have canned protein. And I know if I buy smaller cans, I'm gonna need to double or triple. And when it comes to Keystone, I know 1 can is going to complete the entire meal. So I hope that you guys are enjoying National Preparedness Month. It is so incredibly important to make sure that you're focusing on all the parts of your prepper pantry and making sure that you have protein as a priority on your prepper pantry, because currently right now, if we continue to see beef prices rise, we all know beef is the new luxury item. Nobody needs a Louis Vuitton purse. All they need is a couple of steaks at this point. It is insanely, incredibly expensive. Making sure that you focus in on your chicken, your pork, and your turkey. Those are great protein additives to add in for your family. And then if times get tough, you know that you can go downstairs and you have protein on hand. I absolutely love Keystone Meats. I know everybody else in here loves Keystone Meats. They have been absolutely phenomenal, and you just can't beat the price for the quantity that you get inside those cans. So as always, I hope you guys are having a wonderful National Preparedness Month, and we are halfway through the month. It's been a pretty grim month, but we needed some positivity and we needed some happiness. When we're talking about it, my prepper pantry definitely lifts my spirits. When I see it, I'm like, oh, things are good. We're doing really well. And so I hope that you guys have a great day. And as always, stay aware, stay prepared, and always have your head on a swivel. I will catch you later.